I'm Brandon Grant, Marketing Director here at QuoteWerks. In this video, we're going to cover how to set up and use email templates in QuoteWerks. Email templates are a great way to customize the content of your emails when you are delivering your quotes or proposals to your clients. There's a variety of options to customize, including the text, signatures, images, and more. So let's get started. To customize your email templates, click on Tools, Customize Email Templates in QuoteWerks. This will open up the Email Template Manager. Depending on your security settings will depend on which templates you're allowed to customize, create, or delete. I have master rights, so I'll have full access to all of our templates in QuoteWerks. Your email templates are going to be broken down into different groups or categories. You have the option to view all users' templates, the system templates, public templates, and then view the individual user templates. All users will display all templates for all of your users in your installation. When you click on a template, you'll see the owner of the template on the right, and you can, if you have those security rights to do so, actually switch that access and make changes to those templates. The most common templates are the system templates. The system templates are the default templates that come with QuoteWerks. This is the default text that is shown when you open up a new email when you do any of the actions here. So we're going to start by making a change to a system template first. If you look down near the bottom here, there's a system template called Email Quote Valet Quote is Ready. If you're using Quote Valet, this is the default email text that appears when you are using Quote Valet to deliver your quote. So to make any changes to this default template, I simply need to highlight it, and then I can go about and start making changes. First, if we wanted to change the subject, instead of saying your quote is ready on Quote Valet, maybe we want to change this to your requested quote is now available. And we'll put an exclamation point. You also have the option to set a default to, CC, and BCC. This is really useful if you wanted to always BCC like the sales manager or perhaps a specific user in your installation that might be required on reviewing every quote that's sent out to the customer. So for our example, I'm going to go ahead and type in sales manager at QuoteWerks.com, and every time this template is used, the sales manager will be BCC'd on this email. Additionally, you'll see there's an option to append and replace. Append will simply append whatever email addresses you list here to the email addresses that are used from the document. So for example, if you are sending a document to the sales manager and you're also going to BCC someone else when you get ready to send this message, that additional email address will simply be appended to the existing one. Whereas if you use replace, no matter which email addresses are set as the to, CC, or BCC, if the replace option is used, those email addresses will be replaced with the default settings here. For most of you, you're just going to use the append option. The rest of the options are going to be pretty straightforward. For example, this box here is going to be the text or the content of the email. This is where we can make any adjustments to the text if we want to. So if we want to change the font, the size, bold, underline, change font colors, anything like that, we can do that. You'll also have the option of inserting images and links by using these options on the right-hand side of this window. So for example, if I wanted to change the text of this email, perhaps we want to say, thank you for requesting this quote. Your quote is available by clicking here. And then very important, you'll want to click on the save button to save your changes. If you do not click save and you click out of the template will not remember any of your changes, so it's very important you hit save before clicking out of the template. Now, because this is a system template, some of the options are not going to be available, such as choosing when this email template is going to be used. This email template is the default setting for whenever you're creating a Quote Valet quote. This is the text that's going to be used moving forward. However, if you make a change to a system template and you want to revert back to the original, you can click on this icon up at the top and this will reset the default template text. So this is really useful if you made a change on accident or you just want to go back to the default. You can always go back. You don't have to worry about it being a permanent change if you don't want it to be. You'll also see in our greeting we have a macro. So this is pulling the document header's user's first name, so the person that we're using on the Sold to Ship to tab. These macros are available by clicking on the drop down arrow here where it says Insert Macro and selecting from a list of the macros on the document headers page. So if there's additional information you wanted to include about this particular quote, maybe you want to include the quote total. So per our discussion, the quote total comes to, and then we can insert a macro. So in this case, we'd be looking for the quote total. And scroll down to the grand total and add that macro in, and you'll see it'll populate it here. Maybe you also want to put a note about when the quote expires. So say this quote is valid for 30 days and will expire on. And again, we'll click on our macros, scroll down here, and we'll put in our expiration date. And then we'll save our changes. So that's a quick way to make some changes to the system email templates. And you can see there's quite a few other email templates as well. If you're not going to be using Quote Valet, you can click on the sys_email quote, and this is the default text that is used for those emails. So if you're not going to be using Quote Valets and you want to change the default text, you'll go to the sys_email quote. You can change the subject where it's going to use the document name and the document number, and then the text here you can adjust as well, and then simply hit save, and that will make that change to the system email. Very important to note that when you make changes to the system emails, it's going to be reflected for all users. So if you have changes or text that you want to use, but you don't want it to be for all users, what you can do is, so for example here, maybe we want to use most of this, but we're just going to change a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and just copy this to my clipboard. I want to create a new template just for my own personal user. So I can easily do that by clicking on the drop down and going to my user login, so that's the administrator, and then clicking on the gold button. And when you click on the gold button, it'll bring up this enter name for your new template window. So you just need to give your template a name. So we'll call this our Quote Valet email template and click OK. And then we need to give the email a subject. So if we want to call it for using QuoteWerks, and then I can paste my text that I had copied over. And if I wanted to add anyone as a to or CC or BCC as a default, so let's do the sales manager at QuoteWerks.com again, and then I'll click save. And you'll see here it sets the owner as administrator. This means only my user will actually be managing this particular template, and only my user will see this template by default. Now there are ways to share templates among other users and groups, which we'll go over later in this video as well. Now, one of the differences with the email templates under users, whether it's under a specific user or under the public, is you'll have access to the include in list available templates when emailing options. And what this does is allows you to choose when this email will be available in the template drop-down window of the email window. So if this email is very specific, so I only want it to show up when I'm sending out a quote, order, or invoice, and if I'm doing a Quote Valet quote is ready. It's the only time I'm going to need to see this email template. So I can actually specify in QuoteWerks when this template will be available in my view. If I'm only going to use it for Quote Valet quote is ready, I could actually uncheck these options, and if I'm not sending a Quote Valet quote, then this email template won't be available. And that setting makes a lot of sense because it includes our Quote Valet link here, which will only be available if I'm using Quote Valet. So if I'm not using Quote Valet, I won't actually have to use this template. Now, if you create a template and you want other users to automatically have access to it, or you want everyone in your organization to have access to it, you can actually switch the owner of the document to public instead. So if we change the owner from administrator to public and then save it, you'll see the email template no longer shows up under my administrator user. And if I click on the drop down here and we scroll up to public, we'll see our email template that we just created. This is really useful so you can share email templates among your users. So instead of each user having to create their own version or their own email templates, you can create one email template and then share it with everyone in your organization. You'll also see in this email template, it's using what's called the signature active. Signature active is your active signature set up under your Tools, My Preferences window. This is going to display what your email signature will look like. So for example, if we click on the preview icon here, we can see what this email would look like and what my signature would look like. And if I wanted to change it, you can actually edit your signature down here. Now, most of you are going to be using the standard signature, so you can choose Edit My Standard Signature, and that'll actually open up the email signature here, so you can adjust your signature. And just like in the email template window, you can select various macros to fill in the information about your signature. If you see a lot of blank information in here, you probably don't have your personal information filled out under the Tools My Preferences menu, so you just want to fill that out first. We do offer other signature options, so if you want to include other types of signatures, maybe you have another company, maybe you have alternate titles that you need to use for specific emails, you can use a variety of these email signatures, and instead of using signature active, you can just specify which signature you would like to use. So you can actually say use our alternate 1, alternate 2, alternate 3, the short, or the standard option. So a lot of options for setting up your signature here in your email templates. Now, one of the really cool features about the QuoteWerks email templates is the ability to insert snippets. So if you look at your templates tab here, directly next to it is a snippets tab. And the snippets include information that maybe you don't want to have to update. So for example, snippets are a great way to have information that changes on a regular basis embedded in your email templates without you having to manually edit each email template. And I'll show you what I mean. So I've created this snippet here, and I just put some new features that we released in our last update, and then a link to the update page. And what I can do is I can enter this snippet in any of my emails. So as things change, as we release new features, all I have to do is make the changes in my snippet here, and then it'll automatically be updated in my email template. So I can do that by going back to my templates, and we'll go to our email template here, scroll down, and maybe we'll just say, would you like to see what's new? And then what we would do is actually insert a new macro. So we're going to scroll down to the bottom here, and we're going to add in a public snippet. And then you'll just need to add the snippet name, which in our example was new features snippet. And go ahead and save it, and then we can preview just to make sure it worked, and you can see it adds the text from our snippet in there. So this will automatically be populated in our email. So anytime I need to make a change to those features in the snippet, I don't have to go to each email where the snippet is. I just make the change in the snippet itself. Okay, so we've created our first email template. Let's go ahead and send a quote using this new email template so we can see what it looks like. I'm going to go ahead and close out of here. So let's go ahead and open up an existing document. So I'm just going to click on my file menu here, and we'll just go to the last document I had open. So we have our quote here. We're ready to send it to our customer. So we click on deliver, select our cover page, layout, literature documentation if we had any, and we'll go ahead and choose upload to Quote Valet, since that's the email template that we created. And we don't need approval, so we'll just go ahead and overwrite that. And then we'll upload it to Quote Valet, and then we can preview it, but what we're really interested in what the email looks like. So we'll click on send email to open up the email window. And you'll see, since I had changed the default text on the system email template, it's pulled in and defaulted to that text that we created there. So we'll see there's our quote total, and it's valid for 30 days and will expire on this date. And then there's our link to our Quote Valet quote. So this is the default that I've set. And I've also have my BCC set, and if I wanted to set any others, I could do that as well. Now, if I wanted to make any changes to this text, you can do that. So if I wanted to add, please make payment via credit card using the link below, I could add that. You can add and customize this text, and it's only going to be for this specific email that we're working on. So any changes you make here just won't be saved because we're not actually editing the template, we're just editing this email. Now if I wanted to change the template, if I wanted to use one of the other templates that I have, I can do that by clicking on the drop down here. And you'll see they're organized in a very specific way. So your templates, the templates that are assigned to your user, will be displayed first, and you'll see them here, and they won't have a username assigned to them. Then you'll see the public templates, and then you'll see individual user templates. So the individual user templates are a great way to share templates among users in like a group. So if you have maybe your sales reps, you want your inside sales reps to use a certain template, and you want your account managers to use a different set of templates, or your outside sales to use a different set of templates, you can actually set up various groups and choose which email templates are available for which group. And you can do that by clicking on the edit list here. And the user can actually specify, okay, I want to see this user's templates, and click OK. And then if there were any templates for those users, those would appear in the new list window here. So it makes it really easy to choose which template you want to use. So for example, if I wanted to select, we'll say our new client template, I can use a new client template, and you'll see here it has my information, my email, and then it has that snippet that we've added, and it's using the same signature, and then we can hit send and actually send this out to the customer. If you want to add other email addresses, you can do that by using commas and separating the emails via comma in each of the to, from, CC, or BCC settings, as well if you want to change the subject or any of the other text, you can do so. Okay, so using the email templates, very easy. Setting up the email templates, very easy. The one thing to keep in mind is that the template options here will be limited based on your security settings. So if you don't have the rights to see a certain user's templates, so if I click on edit list, and let's say I don't have access to see Norm's templates, even if I select Norm here and click OK, I won't be able to view his templates. And that's it. Using email templates in QuoteWerks is very easy, and is really easy to apply to multiple users or groups. You can share templates, you can create templates specifically for your own user. You have a lot of freedom and a lot of flexibility for how you want to utilize these. If you have any other questions, feel free to contact our sales team or review our help file. Thanks for watching.